Episode 90, Season 14, Serial number 5.
The noun of adjective.
It's the robots of death.
Noun of adjective.
Noun of now.
Adjective?
Adjective. Objective. Noun.
Mm-hmm. Proper noun.
Noun. Proper
Verb.
Noun. Verb. Adverb. Adjective. Verb, noun, verb.
Anyway.
The robots of death.
Mm-hmm.
The story. Stuff happens. Brand new companion. Leela. What happens in this one, dear?
There's robots and there's some death, mostly.
Mm-hmm.
Or did you want me to get... did you want me to get more detailed about this?
Yeah, because I think this joke has been done one too many times.
Fuck you.
I think we've done it, 70 out of the, 80 or something times that we've done this podcast now.
Wait, we do a podcast?
I'm going to strangle you.
Gotcha. Well, there's some rocks and they're rolling, and then there's also this big metal thing, and it's a spraying, and there's also some tiny people in the thing, but actually they're robots. Also, there's people here, being waited on by the robots, and they have very strong eyeliner, and they are talking about how robots are scary and tear off limbs. And Commander really wants to win chess against the robots, but he can't. The robots have found a thing, they're on alert, all the humans get ready to go do something. Meanwhile, the TARDIS swoops in, and Leela is playing with a yo-yo, and she's like, I thought this yo-yo made the TARDIS go. And then he explains the TARDIS to her, kind of size-wise. And then they land, and they go look around, but they're in something metal, and it's weird. Leela still has her testicle gun, but she apparently isn't going to need it because there's no weapons with the Doctor. Actually, outside isn't all metal. There's some rocks and stuff, and that giant thing, and this really is a drag planet, honestly, because of what they're wearing. Also, they're miners, as in, mining, and then they might be rich soon, the drag people. Meanwhile, down in storage, tinfoil robot shoes guys have some red eyes and is being weird, and it's a good thing, because it's, time to murder. Back at Commander, they're running some stuff and doing some things, and the Doctor and Leela go look at metal scratches for a bit and go, and then they see the TARDIS. We also see the TARDIS being crane gamed away, which is something. The miners are upset that they don't have enough power to get this one thing, and then one guy runs up and says that Chubb is dead because his boner died. Fishfin head lady is shocked. Yep. Fishfin head lady is shocked. Leader Commander is really wanting the money, so he's like, let's just keep working. Elephant lady is very angry about this. Guy with shoulder pads is like, it was a murder, come on. Leela points out some dust and it's a sandstorm, so let's leave. And it'll kill us if we don't shut the thing. So we go back to the TARDIS, but the TARDIS is gone, so we go to shut the shutters, but they shut themselves. Shoulder pad shows Leader Chubb's body, but then he realizes he was strangled and has this, little bike reflector on him. And apparently it's something about robot, I don't know. Oh my god. So they all meet back up and ask who killed Chubb, and apparently no one interrupts anyone else here, and Elephant thinks that the scream could have been arranged like a recording. Also, look at this corpse marker for deactivated robots. The robots are now taking full control, while the Doctor and Leela walk around with them, and the Doctor now knows it's a mining operation. Also, the robot is listening into them, and the Doctor is listening into the robot. They're both on a different side of the door. Fuck.
Maybe.
Sorry. It is a day that I'm having trouble breathing, apparently. Ugh. The Doctor wants to speak to who's in charge, and the robot is like, me. And then the Commander learns about the Doctor, and he's like, let's just get back to work. And no one else believes that the intruders killed them. It could have been someone else. And the Commander's like, we're here for money, goddammit. We need to make the money. And then, apparently the Doctor has escaped. Leela finds a dead body, by the way, and the Doctor has found the TARDIS. But then the Doctor also finds a dead body inside of a nut silo, and then he's trapped in there, and there's a whole bunch of nuts falling all over him. It's actually kind of like dirt and rocks, but it looks like nuts. He's dead. That's it.
Oh, thank God he's dead.
Yeah.
Thank the Lord. I mean, not really, but... So, one of the funniest things ever happened during the commentary. We loaded in, started watching, and Dia just went, This is just Dune. Fun story about that, dear.
Uh-huh.
Yes.
Okay.
They they basically, when they were making the story, we had a story that fell through, so they needed to make another one. So they got Chris Boucher, who wrote the previous story, to write another one.
Uh-huh.
Philip Hinchcliffe pushed the idea of some type of robot story, despite Robert Holmes, the script editor, being like, robots are dull. Like, fuck robots.
Mm-hmm.
But Holmes was confident that he could produce a good script for an enclosed space, because the crew were aware that the serial would need to be a studio-bound one because they didn't really have the money to go somewhere else. Philip Hinchcliffe suggested a setting akin to the machines featured in the 1965 sci-fi novel Dune, and so the Sand Miners were created. So this is the closest Doctor Who gets to being Dune. Although it's not just Dune that's influenced this one, obviously.
Yeah.
It's fairly obvious that it's influenced by quite a number of other things. It's influenced by a lot of Agatha Christie novels. It's influenced heavily by Isaac Asimov's sort of stuff to do with the robots and such. One of the big things as well is the sort of way that the crew are portrayed. This is kind of the center point shift in science fiction. From before this point, sort of the future was always seen as like clean, and everyone was sort of static and pure and perfect, and everything was great. But around this time, mid to late 70s, is when we get that change from optimistic, sort of white, blinding, sort of operatic future to industrial, grungy sort of dirt-ridden future that you see in stuff like Alien and such. And which is kind of like Star Wars and Alien and all that. And this is kind of something that they wanted to put through. Nobody really shared that sort of vision though with the set designers, because the Lord on high, the uniforms and the way that this place looks is very gaudy and also very extravagant. The uniforms not entirely reflect it, but they do reflect the nobility to which these people are meant to be. They're meant to be of higher class within this society, which is a fairly developed society in the story, and it continues in other spin-off stuff. But that's sort of the fashionable science fiction of the day, which kind of helps Doctor Who out because it means they can make sets a lot better.
Mm-hmm.
But yes, so we have Isaac Asimov with robots, we have Agatha Christie with a murder mystery, and we have, well, Doctor Who with Doctor Who and Dune. So, what happens in part 2?
Well, Leela is confronted by the robots, wheeling the dead body out, and just kind of hides. The doctor's still covered in nuts and has a breathing tube, so he's fine, but Leela follows the dead body. Humans really want to find the killers, and the commander's like, bro, we don't even have defense weapons, what the fuck? We should stay here. Doctor has survived the nutting, and the robot has come to check on a Hopper, and he's like, why are you here? And he's like, I don't know, it was all weird and shit, so, like, I came to check. Leela wants to fight the doctor. Instead, finds... Oh my god, I'm so sorry.
It's okay. I forgive you.
I don't need your forgiveness, I need the listeners' forgiveness.
I'll let them forgive you.
Instead, she finds another dead body of the guy who took left to go look for the murderers. And she gets attacked by a dark green robot, and he's like, I would have killed you if, if I had killed him, I would have killed you too by now. And Leela's like, I don't want to explain myself. And the robot's like, look at this reflector. And the commander comes in, and Green Man grabs Leela, and he's like, haha, I got her. And he's like, Leela, you killed him. And she basically kicks him in the nuts. Shoulder Pad is like, wow, this woman is strong if she killed him. And it's like, Shoulder Pads is like, we're all hiding something, ain't we, Commander? And then, okay, time to walk away. Doctor eats jelly babies. Doctor and Leela are back together. So now everyone's arguing, and they go, we're travelers, and they go, nah, people died, bro, that's not good enough. And then it's confusing why they would blame a stowaway, and the doctor's like, y'all are idiots. Glitter Color tries to strangle the doctor, and then they lock the doctor and Leela up instead. Elephant is very upset about all of this. The commander is a dick to her for no real reason. Tinfoil Robot Shoes goes and meets another Tinfoil Robot Shoes, and the name Zelda is brought up, who is Elephant, and is, like, basically given a death marker, and she's, like, told to be killed. The doctor and Leela are duct taped to a wall, and the doctor is concentrating really hard to try to get out. The mining isn't going well, so Elephant goes to take a break, and Commander's upset about this for some reason. Shoulderpad goes to meet the doctor and asks about what the possibility is that they overlooked, and he releases him, and he goes, it was a robot, yo, and he's like, that's not possible. And so they go and investigate that first dead body, and in the circumstance, he'd ask a robot for help if he was in the dead body circumstance. You know, dead. And then Elephant starts crying over the intercom because she found some stuff in the commander's room going, you did it! You killed it! And they're like, oh.
Blew it up!
And Elephant is dead. Shoulderpad announces this to the ship. Leela feels something weird happening. Like, the doctor's like, don't be superstitious. And then the entire fucking machine almost rolls over. And the doctor's like, don't say a word. And then apparently something is wrong. The drive shafts, something, and it's gonna blow up if they don't stop the drive shafts. And it's not getting any better. And the doctor's like, I'm gonna help. But then Shiny Collar runs in and grabs the doctor like, you're not gonna fuck us up anymore. And he's like, no, please, it's gonna blow up. And then, yeah, that's it.
And then it blows up.
Yep.
And everyone dies. The end.
Yep. Yep.
So, on this story, while they were recording it and doing rehearsals, initially Tom Baker had an apprehension with the cliffhanger of the first episode. He wanted to change it so that instead it should be an action-packed sequence in which the Doctor swings on his scarf to kick the door open. He and the director argued a lot about it, very loud, until the director revealed that the Graham Williams, who is about to take over the producer role from Philip Hinchcliffe, was present to observe the shoot because, you know, they were taking him through to show him what it was going to be like for his job. That shut Tom Baker up real quick, and he agreed to just do what the director asked. Because you don't want to piss off the next producer, because suddenly he might be like, yeah, actually, you know what, we need a new Doctor. Philip Hinchcliffe, obviously on his way out, either did something that can be seen as either putting the program ahead of his own career, or an incredibly petty piece of revenge for being kicked off the program. He instructed all staff under him not to worry about budgets, but do whatever they felt necessary to make the last few stories he was on feel fantastic. The usual punishment for this was to have the following year's budgets capped, and the personnel involved removed from that series. Even allowing for inflation, Williams's budget for the next season was only 60% of what it had been 2 years previous. So, woof. That's not good. Leela was, as we discussed previously, only meant to really be in the previous story, but they retained her to deal with this script because he was meant to be, because it was written by the same man. One of his kind of asks for it was that Leela stay in it. And so they're like, okay, she can come over and then we'll replace her with another companion, because remember they wanted to do like one companion each time.
Yeah.
Initially, supposedly they wanted D84. Tom Baker and the actor who played D84 wanted him to be the new companion because they thought it would be a good contrast for the Doctor to have a sort of stern, sort of clean robot that doesn't really have any sort of emotion to sort of counteract the Doctor's sort of egotism and eccentric nature. That didn't happen. What instead ended up happening was they just kept Leela. And so the writer got a small payment every time she appeared, which is, you know, pretty good for them. Speaking of Leela, by the way, I didn't bring up last episode because it was kind of brought up when the creation of this episode, about where Leela got her name from. It
was Futurama, wasn't it?
No, Futurama came out after this, dear.
No, it was Futurama.
No, that's not how that works.
No, it was.
I know it's a show about time travel, but it's not.
It is, so that's how it works.
Leela actually got her name from a Palestinian hijacker named Leela Khalid. Who
really
was who was a member of the Popular Front for the Liberation of Palestine. Remember, Doctor Who is incredibly left-wing. She's a massive, like, political prisoner on all fronts. Very much a anti-imperialist of the sort. Very sort of infamous for essentially hijacking planes and diverting them for political reasons. And committing acts of political dubiousness, let's say, and we'll end it at that. But she developed a fondness for the United Kingdom when she got older, and basically immigrated. There's a lot of shit in between here. And I'm glossing over a lot because I don't really want to talk about it that much. But yeah, she was named. That's what Leela was named after. Which I think is great that she was named after someone like that. But yeah, it wasn't Futurama. If anything, Futurama Leela was named after this Leela, because I don't fucking know, maybe.
Sorry, I'm just reading up on Leela Khalid.
Leela Khalid?
Yeah.
Yeah.
She got plastic surgery just to conceal her identity, to then continue hijacking things.
It's insane. She honestly, if you want to like come out from this podcast like learning something and like just spending an afternoon doing something, honestly, look at the life of Leela Khalid. She, like, it's astounding what she's done and how much she's done, and the fact that she's still alive
and not in jail, like, and got away with a lot of it.
Quote
unquote, got away with.
Quote unquote.
Yeah.
But yes, that's where Leela got her name from. I kind of kept it for this episode because this is kind of where it was revealed in the commentary for this one, and also this is when she really became a companion. But yeah, that's who Leela is. So what happens in the next part, dear?
Sorry, I'm too taken aback by this. Sorry. So restraining dude cuts the wires instead, and the doctor comes, and the thing comes to a halt. And then, we need to repair everything now, and refrigeration isn't working, and Fishman is injured, and Leela helps her, but then argues with shoulder pads about who's a murderer. Doctor doesn't trust anyone, so Leela needs to keep an eye on shoulder pads. Leela's like, the water tastes bad, but also, why do you shoot and do this shit, bro? And the shoulder pads is like, money. And then he just leaves and locks her inside. We also see a robot with a busted-ass head being looked at by Shiny Collar, and Shoulder Pad also looks at him when he goes away, and busted-ass robot has some bloody, brainy hand on him, and then a robot whispers to a computer that whispers back to him and fries its brain, and he's like, okay, kill time. And the doctor runs into a green talking robot and threatens to out him, and he goes, alright, well, listen, I'm gonna tell you about the scientist, we really should find him, but I don't know what he looks like, so he's not on board. And he's like, well, how do you know that? And then the doctor's like, let's go find this workshop, it should probably be here, so they go there. Murder Robot is going after Fish Lady, but then he's like, the commander's gone, accidentally released him, oops. But then he's like, please, go get Leela, my fucking arm hurts. Leela is banging on the door, by the way, being stuck in a room, and the doctor just kind of walks by, and the green robot is like, I heard someone cry for whatever reason. He's like, it was me, goddammit! And then the robots are commanded to kill the rest of the humans, by the way. Leela is now being attacked, so she pulls out her knife, does nothing. I don't know the split between the episodes, but it's fine. So stop me when I get there. It tells her she cannot escape, and then she escapes. And then the doctor has found a workshop now, and it's like got super cool lasers, which were used, apparently. The doctor calls to Fishman and says it's the robot, and she's like, okay. And then a robot tries to attack her while she leaves, so she locks its hand on the door and smacks it off. Fishman is very upset about the fact she's gonna die. Robots are like, I was reprogrammed, hee hee. Back in the jail room, Shoulder Pads is under the desk. Leela is hiding in a turning wall, and Shoulder Pads like, I gave them the power to kill, I guess. They're not gonna mess with me. Go away. And then, you gotta draw something. And then the commander is walking.
You gotta draw something, Rhodey.
Leela, you gotta draw something.
Leela, use your knife. You gotta draw.
The commander has walked into the workshop, and then the robot shows up behind him. And the robot goes after the doctor, and he gets a good strangle. And I realized that is where the episode ends.
That is the end of the episode, yes.
Yeah. I remember.
Congratulations, you did it, dear.
I remembered.
Congratulations. So, fun fact, Louise Jameson, who played Leela, nearly killed a cameraman during this episode.
Okay.
During production of the story, in the scene where Leela throws her knife at an attacking robot, on one take, she wasn't holding it correctly, which caused it to fly off in the wrong direction and very nearly stab a cameraman in the back. In future, after this story, the knife had to be blunted to prevent this from happening ever again.
Wow.
Because they very nearly had an awful time. It nearly ended awfully. Another thing also, and anyone being very observant would actually know who the identity of the murderer is as early as part 2, because in the scene where in which Capel delivers a corpse marker to a robot, while only the legs are shown, the distinct outfit design of the murderer is actually shown. Like, you can see their trousers, and it's like, well, only one person is wearing those trousers, so it must be them. Another thing also, the Doctor refers to robophobia, which is a kind of made-up thing, but he also refers to it as Grimwade syndrome, which is kind of an in-joke within the production team, because it refers to production assistant Peter Grimwade, who would later become a director and writer in the series. He always would get annoyed whenever he was assigned to work on stories, because he was like, they always involve robots. I fucking hate robots. They always involve robots. Why does it always have to be robots?
Mm-hmm.
So they're jokingly being like, robophobia is Grimwade syndrome. But the way the Doctor describes robophobia actually kind of coincides more with the Uncanny Valley. It's essentially like the version of robophobia, and this is just a sort of a psychosis formed from the Uncanny Valley. Which, it's not good. But we also got a whole heap of references, not just, taking plot points and such from other influences, but we have things like Uvanov's name suggests Isaac Asimov. Borg is obviously cyborg. Poole's name is derived from science fiction author Poul Anderson. Lots of different things here and or there. And of course, Isaac Asimov, the entire story kind of hinges on Asimov's laws of robotics, with the first law being a robot may not harm a human being, or through inaction allow a human to come to harm. Which the entire story is kind of about that. Not really, but it involves it to a heavy point. But what happens in the next part, dear? Is the Doctor dead?
Yes. As usual.
Oh, thank God.
Well, the commander shoved a laser into the Doctor's head.
The commander missed the robot and shoved it right into the Doctor's head.
Yes. They shoved it into the robot's head. But it goes after the Doctor, and then it just dies. Meanwhile, Fishfin just lets the fucking robot in, by the way. She just opens the door, and it's like, hey. Then Doctor...
I don't know why she fucking...
Yeah, I don't know. And then the Doctor just puts his hat on a robot, then because two robots are now apparently blinded, they attack each other. And then, apparently, robot scientist is still alive! And Leela runs to Fish Lady and finds Green Robot trying to help her, and the robots reconvene are ready to do a murder while the ladies hide in the nut cage. Robots continue walking because they really need to find him, and then they call into a robot and go, okay, just be careful. I'm in my cabin. Yay. Commander and everyone is in the control room. Green Robot brings in shoulder pads to lay on the table. Doctor explains robots are killers, and Green is controlled by shoulder pads, and they are undercover. And the Doctor is commanded to bring everyone out, or they're all gonna die. And the doctor's like, don't let anyone fucking in here. Also, if we magnetize this thing, we can get some anti-robot bombs. So that's what we're gonna do. Leela and the doctor and the robot go outside. They count 10 robots, and they're like, okay, time to take them out. Also, one dude is apparently screaming to ask him to come in. It's Sparkle Collar Dude. He's green now, and he's also the bad guy. Oh. They're
Dusk.
looking... Yes, Sparkle Color. My Little Pony, Sparkle, but color. Anyway, we need to find... His My Little Pony name would be Sparkle Color. Like Twilight Sparkle, but his name is Sparkle Color.
Wait, why is she called Twilight Sparkle? Because she sparkles?
Because she has a sparkle symbol on her butt. I'm dead serious.
What the fuck is My Little Pony?
Okay, so they have these cutie marks, and his cutie mark is a sparkly color. So his little pony would be called Sparkle Color.
Okay.
Okay. Anyway.
Does that mean you would be called Fairy Tale?
I mean, maybe. That's not a terrible name. Depressed Trash. Anyway. So we also need some gas. That's what I was saying. I was calling you Depressed Trash. Depressed Trash Pony.
I don't have Depressed Trash on me. I just am Depressed Trash.
I know.
I'm not a...
Okay, fine. Depressed cat hair. You have cat hair on you.
No, I don't. Not right now, this very second.
Sure. They're looking to force open the doors, by the way. Also, we need some gas canisters for some reason because of this busted-ass robot. Then we learn about robophobia, blah, 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 and gonna modify this robot's communicator, listed on DAS/Sparkle, whatever. Then the doctor's a fucking cunt for some reason. He's like, why are you fucking talking? And it's really weird. But then, literally, as soon as the commander shouts at their plan, the robot's like, all, like, stop. And it's like, oh, maybe I shouldn't have said that so loud. And then the doctor says, this communicator's gonna fry your brain too, Greenie. And he's like, it's fine, I'm ready to die for my friends. And then Dask is informed that there's only 3 people in the control room, so we have to find the doctor. And then Shoulder Pants has a fucking panic attack. Shoulder Pads, not Pans, has a panic attack. And then they go to bomb the robot that's trying to break in, which they do. It's now dead. And they're like, okay, time to take these bombs and go on the offensive. And then Dask orders the murder of all humans. Doctor and Leela and Greenie go into the workshop, and Leela is tasked with hiding in a storage closet and using some helium to change Dask's voice. But the robots make their way there and attack everyone. Leela opens the tube. The doctor's in the robot bench, and Dask is fucking him up. And then Dask's voice starts to, like, get all high and stuff because of the helium. And then a needle goes into the doctor's brain and tries to fuck him up. And then Dask's voice gets worse. And then they continue to talk for a while, talking about robots and shit. Greenie sets off the communicator thing, short-circuiting a lot of the robots. And then Dask just resorts to trying to straight up needle the doctor. And a robot comes in, and he's like, what do you do? Sorry. What are you doing? Kill the doctor! And he turns into Toad, apparently.
Kill the doctor! This is my command! You will kill the doctor!
And, god damn it. Okay. And the robot comes in and just murders Dask because he doesn't recognize the voice. And then Fishman and Commander run in, and they're literally useless, even though they have anti-robot bombs. And the doctor shoves a laser in the robot's head, kills it, and Leela is like, can I come out, please? And then they're like, okay, and then they just head back to the TARDIS, and Leela's like...
No. You mean Leela's like, can I come out, please?
No, it needs to be Toadette.
Can I come out, please?
I'm
This
sorry.
podcast has gone places.
Dear's audio is going to be so peaking.
I'm sorry. Anyway, Leela's like, can I come out? And then they just head out to TARDIS, and Leela's like, don't we need to, like, stay and help? And he's like, nah. And they get in the TARDIS and leave.
So, fun fact, this story has technically a sequel, in an audio form called Robophobia. It's a great Seventh Doctor one. I highly recommend it. Which is a very good story. That kind of continues this. In the continuity of this story, things don't work out. The company covers up the massacre completely and hides every mention of everything that happened and everyone that died.
Yeah.
And tries to hush up those that didn't die. There's also a separate series that the writer continued on to make called Caldor City. And there's also a Big Finish series called The Robots, which is about specific people within the city. I haven't listened to any of it, because... What?
You said it's a Big Finish series, so are they Finnish?
I'm gonna kill you.
This podcast is going places.
It's going places like hell. We're on a hell of a ride. No, it's not finished. I believe they're doing at least one more season. I'm not entirely certain though. But I haven't listened to it yet because I haven't gotten around to it. Because to be honest, Caldor doesn't exactly excite me. I like the robots, I like the society, but not enough to want to listen to a whole heap of it. That may change in the future. I may get around to listening to it and really, really like it. But for now, I'm fine. So, dear robots.
Like a 5. I don't hate it. I don't love it, but I don't hate it. There are parts that are just kind of like, to me.
Yeah.
Why was he a dick, by the way? Like, just for no reason.
He does... He comes off a bit of a... Like, that scene in particular, it doesn't really make sense. He is a bit of a dick to Leela sometimes, but it always... Whenever he is a dick, most of the time it comes from a place of, like, okay, playtime is over, like, you need to actually listen to me right now, because otherwise we're going to die. Or from a point of, like, I'm trying to teach you a lesson, and I know if, like, because of the way that you tend to learn through your tribe, you only really respond to strength, so I need to, I need to put you in a place that reminds you of, like, you need to listen to me, I'm trying to tell you something right now. But this... It kind of comes out of nowhere, and it doesn't really have a payoff. He just says, shut up, and then continues to talk, and then when she continues to talk, he doesn't tell her to shut up again. It makes no sense. It kind of feels like a scene got chopped and... I don't know. I really don't know. Because I was kind of... Because I know that the Doctor and Leela have this relation, especially in the beginning, they have this kind of relationship. I was kind of waiting for it to talk to you about it, but considering this is the first time, I'm kind of taken aback too, because I have no idea why it was in here.
Yeah, it just was like in a situation where he's doing something and she's just asking questions and he's like, stop talking. And it's like, what the fuck?
Yeah, which is weird, especially considering their entire relationship is about him teaching her about humanity and encouraging her to ask questions. Like, in future, he'll essentially be like, what's going on in this situation? And she'll, like, start to ask questions and say certain things. And he'll, like, be like, yes, very well, like, good, you've done, like, that's correct, or, like, you know, close, it's not this, it's actually this. Like, he encourages her, whereas this is weird. It's kind of what the entirety of the next episode is actually about, because he goes, like, I want to show you what your ancestors were like on Earth, which leads to the next episode, dear. Guess the title, it's the blank of Weng Chiang.
Racism?
Oh, don't worry, we get to talk about racism. But it's not racism.
Asian slur?
No, it's not an Asian slur. Why would it be an Asian slur?
I don't know.
You get one more guess. I'll give you a hint. Eagles have them.
Wings.
The talons.
Okay.
Of Weng Chiang. Yes, this is one of the most remembered episodes, and one of the most fondly remembered episodes. I like it, but it's inescapable to not talk about the incredible racism in it. Like,
yeah,
it's not just, hey, this accent's a bit racist. Don't look it up. Don't look it up. Because we need to talk about it in the episode.
Okay.
I will say the next episode, for those, if you don't want to listen to depictions of yellowface, and you don't want to listen to incredibly racist and outdated, even for the time, outdated racial stereotypes of Chinese people, you may want to skip the next commentary.
We'll just
the
put a
podcast. Don't worry,
Dear
Don't worry, Dear won't do a racist accent to say all the lines in it.
Oh my God.
We'll leave that to the actors in the show. But yes, we'll talk about it because like it's a good it's a very good it's a good episode to talk about Doctor Who being good but also bad at the same time with regards to its depiction of race. Specifically in the 70s, late 70s, they had a big problem with a sort of Asian representation. Lots of yellow face. But we'll get to it. The talents of Wang Chiang. Anything else you want to add, dear?
Can't wait for the racism.
You heard it here first. Dear cannot wait for racism. Dear wants to be racist right now. Dear, what's your favorite racial slur? Tell us, dear. Come on, tell us. Tell us right now. What is it? What?
No.
What is it, dear? What is it? What's your favorite racial slur, dear?
Check Discord first.
We're not on Twitch, so yes, you can say it.
Cracker.
And dear has been deplatformed. Good night, everybody.
Man, fuck white people. Fucking hate white people.
All of us hate white people. Good night, everybody. Well, come back next time for racism and an absolute skewering of said racism, because oh boy, am I not holding back.